I'm Ketra Thompson, and I'm a certified master hypnotist. Today we're going to be talking about why people end up becoming people pleasers and 3 steps that you can take today to stop that pattern. People pleasing comes from childhood. It comes from a need to be loved and accepted and those attachment bonds that we really need with our caregiver when we're babies. As humans, we are 100% dependent on our caregivers. And so we need them to respond when we cry. We need to be held and fed and changed and loved and talked to. And when those attachment bonds aren't as present as they need to be, that can cause an issue. As the child grows up and gets a little older, even if those were met when they were little, maybe they aren't being met as much as a toddler or a small child. And so we learned that if we behave a certain way, we're going to gain the approval, acceptance, and love of our caregiver. So we try to get our needs met. We jump through the hoops. We do what's expected of us because that means we get the praise of the people that are most important in our life. But then we grow up and we continue believing that this is something we need to do. But the problem is, deep down on a subconscious level, we believe that we're unlovable or unworthy. And so we continue these behaviors because we think that we wouldn't be loved unless we behaved this way. We tend to think that we aren't lovable unless we're doing something for other people and pleasing them, but it's just not true. In some ways, it's actually self-serving because it allows us to get the response we want back from the other person without being honest about the version of us that's real and true and letting the world see that real version of us. So it's sort of self-serving. We're kind of getting what we need without having to give the real version of ourselves. Now, of course, hypnotherapy is the most rapid, most effective way to really get into the subconscious mind and reframe those belief systems so that we can actually have a deep sense of self-worth instead of this constant tape replaying about all of our negative features, like just a negative tape in the background of our mind. Hypnotherapy helps you to get in there and reframe what you believe about yourself and the world so that you can live in a more holistic, loving, worthy way. But even if you aren't in hypnotherapy yet, there are 3 things you can do today to start that transformation in your mind and create some change. Number 1, give yourself time before saying yes or no to anyone's request. This way you can actually determine whether or not you want to do this thing, whether or not it's in alignment with who you are, whether or not you have time to do it, or whether or not you have the emotional energy and bandwidth, because that's something that oftentimes is overlooked. We think, I have time in my day, sure, I can do it. But the fact is, we only have so much emotional energy and bandwidth in our day. And sometimes things just don't fit in to our schedule and we end up feeling exhausted. Number 2, practice saying no to people who you don't fear rejection from. Being able to say no helps you build confidence in yourself, and you start to believe that you're worthy of having boundaries and that you are capable of saying yes and no and meaning it each time. So practice with people that aren't that meaningful to you at first, because if you practice with the people that you care about the most and you fear rejection from the most first, then their pushback is likely going to make you clam up and close in and go back to your old behavior. So definitely start with someone who feels safe. Number 3, do one thing every day just for you. Something that doesn't benefit anybody else. Maybe it's a special drink, a tea, a coffee, a bath, a walk, whatever feeds your soul. Do that one thing for yourself every day and accept that as a gift toward your well-being, because this is about starting to refocus your thinking on what you need, how you feel, and what you can and can't handle. And so focusing in on one need that you have every day is a really great way to start reframing the way you think about it and reframing the neural pathways in your mind to focus on your needs and not just external needs. Of course, hypnotherapy is the most rapid and effective way to create new belief systems in your subconscious mind. It allows you to reframe those old beliefs that were part of the blueprint of your subconscious mind growing up. These beliefs that you had to do certain things in order to be loved. It helps you reframe all of that so that you can actually experience the fullness of your own self-worth. People pleasing can be exhausting, and sometimes you don't even know that you're doing it. So pulling back and paying attention to your feelings and focusing on taking the time to think about things before you say yes or no is really important. And of course, if you are ready to take that deep dive into reframing your own core beliefs through hypnotherapy, please take the time to check out the link in the description below to schedule a complimentary consultation call with me, because this is a life-changing thing. Deciding that you can have a different life, that you can live a different way is huge. And there is nothing more exciting for me than being able to walk through that process with my clients. So be sure also to hit subscribe so you can be notified every time I post a new video. And until next time, curate a life by your own design.